Subscribers and party people, it's been far too long since we've been able to sit down, have a nice cup of Rosie Lee and truly embrace the joy and the passion of this beautiful game of ours. Now, this is a beautiful, perfect, wonderful time of year. And this is why. Because this is the time of year where we can all dream, no matter what happened last year, no matter how lacking your team were last year, no matter how poorly your club were being run at boardroom level, no matter how incompetent the managers were, how embarrassing the results were, no matter how let down you felt by your team, this is the time of year where we can all dream, and we should embrace it. It's a gift. It's a joy. We can all believe, and whatever the definition of believing is for you, whatever the definition of success is for you, now is the time where the crop of players that are currently assembled on pre-season, they are going to deliver. They are going to make us dream. They are going to make us proud. They are going to make us the happiest that we can ever be, aren't they? So, the crop of players that have assembled at Chelsea. The transfer market has been a weird one for us Chelsea fans. Really peculiar, really odd decisions being made. A lot of movement. Some of it has broken my heart. Some of it I'm very excited by. But what I thought we could do on this video is explore exactly how good it's going to be, exactly how impressive our recruitment is going to be, and exactly what we've learned about Chelsea going into the new season from this crop of players. The fairest, most non-biased, non-tribal way of doing this is none other than a tier list. So, let's do the Chelsea Football Club squad of 2023-2024 tier list. Let's go with that rude boy bada bass and flow. Now, I've gone to great lengths to find the perfect tier list for us to consider and give the due diligence to. And you will notice that there is one huge omission from the players on display here. There is no Romelu Lukaku. There is purposefully no Romelu Lukaku because that man, the way that man has treated Chelsea Football Club, the behaviour from that man, a narcissist, somebody who finds happiness and success in only self-gratification, a man who treated Chelsea so poorly, the worst signing Chelsea Football Club have ever made, arguably the worst signing that any football club in the history of the game has ever made. £97 million he arrived for, and within 3 months he was in Italy, having an unsanctioned interview with Sky Italia, telling anyone that would listen that Inter Milan were the only club for him. Inter Milan were the club that he loved, and he didn't really want to play for Chelsea. A huge disrespect to Thomas Tuchel, his manager, to the previous owners who bought him and paid him a huge wage, to the fans who were singing his name a mere 24 hours before. Therefore, Lukaku is not on this list. But we obviously need to discuss, how do we proceed with the Romelu Lukaku issue? How do we, in fact, solve a problem like Lukaku? Now, I was fortunate enough to do a little bit of work with the Sky Bet Fan Hope Survey. Now, it's a very interesting survey where they seek the counsel of Chelsea fans to find out how we truly feel about many a thing. Now, this is very interesting. According to over 350 Chelsea fans surveyed in the Sky Bet Fan Hope Survey, 57% said Romelu Lukaku should be reintegrated into the team. Now, I am livid with that. How can any Chelsea fan genuinely want to see Romelu Lukaku reintegrated into the Chelsea team? This isn't about how good a football he is. This isn't about other options for Chelsea. Sometimes principle has to come first. And Romelu Lukaku disrespected Chelsea, disrespected the badge, disrespected the office of Chelsea manager, and has no genuine intention of playing for Chelsea. We have to have a principle. You cannot display that outward hostility to the club and still have the privilege of leading the line. Now, rather interestingly, 43% of Chelsea fans who were consulted on the Sky Bet Fan Hope Survey agree with me that Romelu Lukaku, if we cannot find somewhere else for him to go, must simply rot in the reserves. The principle comes first. He can train with the youth. He can play for the reserves. But if we cannot get the price that we want for him, Romelu Lukaku must simply see out his contract. He does not get to dictate what happens after the way he has treated the club. He is persona non grata for me, and you will deduce that he isn't even on my tier list. You can read all about the other findings of the 2023 Sky Bet Fan Hope Survey. You can add your voice to the debate and you can share your season predictions. Simply go to Sky Bet Fan Central. The link is in the description below. Okay, right, so let's dive into my tier list, and I promise you that I've given it the due diligence that it deserves. The criteria that I've set up, the tiers that are listed are, you've got the absolute boys. These are the kings, the main men, the kings even among kings, the people I love, the people who will deliver our dreams. These are the men that will make our dreams come true. The absolute boys. That is the tier list that you want to be in. You've also got on for a great season. Now, these are players who perhaps haven't found their full potential at Chelsea, players who we perhaps expected a little bit more from, but players who I believe this season, under proper management, will shine for the club. Loan. It simply says loan. You know what loan means. Loan. Then we've got the players that we're bidding farewell to, but we may not wanted to have done. Players that we wish well, players that we wish would have stayed, or players that we are thankful for their years of service. And we've got the good riddance. Players who we do not feel an affinity with, players that we do not wish well, players that perhaps we wish never played for the club in the first place. And then, finally, in a tier list of their own, we have Romelu Lukaku and Mason Mount. I don't hold the two in the same regard, but the two are both persona non grata as far as I'm concerned. Okay, right, there's many ways of doing this, right? And I am thinking that we'll probably just do it in alphabetical order, shall we? Should we start at the top and see where we go from there? The first player that I'm going to start with is, therefore, I'm going for the main man, Santos. Now, I like this lad. I like the way he plays, and I think that he has played so well in pre-season. He has looked lively, and I think that he will be everything that Mauricio Pochettino needs. Now, when you think about our frailty in midfield, presumably Caicedo signs for Chelsea. Surely that one is going to happen. But we have let an awful lot of midfielders go. It actually feels like our midfield hasn't been a reimagination or a rebuilding. It's been a destruction. We have let, half a dozen midfielders leave since January. If you include Jorginho, who went to Arsenal in January, in this conversation, it really is troubling and it doesn't bode well. What you need from a midfield is continuity. You need the mantle to be passed on. You need the standards that are set by one to be passed on to another. League winner, hopefully to league winner, hopefully to league winner. We haven't got that. We haven't got that at the moment. So our midfield is actually our Achilles heel. You know, I'm not particularly confident about our forward options, and I'm not particularly confident about our goalkeeping options, but I would say our Achilles heel is our midfield. It can be rectified, however, and there are some glorious young players coming through. Santos is one of those. He therefore goes into my category of on for a great season. I think he will feature, and the way that Pochettino has used him in pre-season makes me think that there is something special going on there. Shame he's gone, obviously, Cesar Azpilicueta. The standards that man set, I think you could easily argue that Cesar Azpilicueta is Chelsea's best ever signing in terms of the expectation, the amount of money that he cost, and then what he went on to win. The fact that he won everything and he arrived for £7 million, fairly underwhelming signing, but he managed to kick Ashley Cole out of left back. He then became one of our best ever right backs, and then he actually played as a centre half in what was probably his best position for me. You know, on the right side of a back three, he was just unplayable. A terrier and a total loyal servant for Chelsea. We adore the man, and it really is a shame that he's gone. Slightly different sentiment here from Aubameyang. Now look, Aubameyang's a very interesting one. Good riddance sounds really harsh because that isn't quite how I feel. But I do think that Aubameyang is a very good player who never really got a fair crack of the whip at Chelsea. But ultimately, it hasn't worked. He was very unfortunate that he arrived to link up with his former manager, and they ultimately played one game together. I think Aubameyang played, half an hour under Thomas Tuchel before the rug was swept from under him and he didn't really know where he stood. So ultimately, circumstance hasn't worked for Aubameyang at Chelsea, but I do think that it's correct that he moves on. It is a shame, however, because as a striker, I think he is electric. And when he was at Arsenal, there was a season where he was just totally unplayable. The year he won him the cup against us, in fact. So, we know he can score goals, and I imagine that he will continue that form in Marseille. Benoit Badiashile. Now, this is an interesting one. For me, Badiashile is going to play a lot of football. I think that Thiago Silva is our main man, but we must be aware and we must factor in quite how old he is. Can he go on forever? It's a question that we all sadly know the answer to. The answer is no. But I think Thiago Silva is the best defender at the club. Who plays alongside him is going to be very interesting because there is obviously the Levi Colwill, Benoit Badiashile debate. I would say that I think Levi Colwill is a better player than Badiashile. But Badiashile was sensational for Chelsea last season. When you think about the money that was spent and the furore and fanfare around some of our signings, think Mudryk, for example. Think Cucurella, for example. Badiashile came in, no real expectation. Nobody really knew quite what to expect, and nobody was expecting very much. He was the jewel in the crown of our signings last year. And therefore, Benoit is in for a great season. He's on for a great season. He's not quite an absolute boy yet, but he is on for a great season. Amanda Broja. Now, this is very difficult for Broja, I think. I feel like, basically, Broja needs... Oh, it's so difficult, isn't it? Because Chelsea's forward options are fairly threadbare. I don't feel like we've got that much going on. I don't think there's that much to be excited or inspired about. But I still don't think Armando Broja is the right option. And that is telling. So perhaps he needs one more loan, and then it's either start for Chelsea or a sale. Could he feature for Chelsea this season? I also like him. I really like him and I really rate him. I just don't think that he can lead the line for Chelsea. Can he be our total main man? You know, Jackson has played very well in pre-season, linked up wonderfully for a goal from Mudryk, played very well every time he's led the line, and I like Jackson. And I actually think that Broja is below Jackson in the pecking order, and therefore, by that logic and rationale alone, presuming we sign somebody, Broja is going on loan. Trevor Chalobah. I love this guy. You know, I voted for him as our player of the year last year. Not so much because of the performances or anything. I just like him. I like the way he plays. I like the way he embraces Chelsea, and I like how he represents Chelsea. I think he loves the club. And I am heartbroken at the thought that he may potentially leave. I really don't want him to leave. I really want him to feature. And I think he could have a very important year. You know, the injury to Fofana is obviously like catastrophic for us and for him personally. So I think Trevor Chalobah will feature. Or are they going to sell him? That's my worry. The fact that they like to sell the loan players because they demonstrate 100% profit, and also I think that they represent a previous era. I really don't want them to sell him. I don't know if Chalobah will get enough game time. He's on for a great season. Come on, Trev. I'm with you, my friend. Ben Chilwell, the absolute boy. Ben Chilwell is a king. An absolute boy. Genuinely love Ben Chilwell, and I think that he could have a huge season for Chelsea. I really do. He is a class act. And I'd say when Chelsea are at our best, we're at our best because of our fullbacks. So let's see how he plays under Pochettino. Pochettino has a wonderful history of coaxing the best out of fullbacks in any system that he plays. So let's see that with Ben Chilwell. I think he's going to have a flying year. Chuck Maker, I love this boy. I absolutely love him. He is on for a great season. He is definitely on for a great season. Mark Cucurella. I think we've got to sell him. Is he good riddance? I shouldn't have titled it Good Riddance because I don't mean good riddance. I just mean that he has to move on. But I am right here, aren't I? Mark Cucurella. Do you think that Pochettino can get... I need another tier. I'm not sure that Cucurella... He's definitely got something to prove. I don't necessarily think he's on for a great year. But equally, I don't think we should loan him. I need a mid-tier. Can I add? Have I got the skills for this? Yes, I have. I only can go and add a row below. Wow. Check out these skills. I'm adding a row. Something to prove. That's what we need. That is something. That's annoying, isn't it? Oh, grammatically looks weird. Nothing I can do. Not Mark Zuckerberg. Right. In that case, something to prove. Or maybe we do it. Something to prove. Right. Cucurella, something to prove. Actually, Trevor Chalobah, something to prove. Yeah, I think that's right. In fact, there's a lot of something to prove here. I'm having to rejig. I'm doing some rejigging, but that's fine as long as it looks right at the end. Does Baddy Sheila have something to prove? No, I think he's on for a great season, actually. But I'm going here. Something to prove. There we go. That's what I needed. I needed the something to prove. Right. Where are we up to now? Datro Fofana, I think, needs a loan. Datro Fofana needs to go out on loan. I think that makes sense. Enzo Fernandez, here we go. On for a great season. Yes, the main man. One of the most expensive players in the history of the game. Enzo Fernandez, a World Cup winner. When I was in Qatar for the World Cup, the way that the Argentinian fans adored Enzo Fernandez. They call him Sexo. I was in the game against Australia, Argentina versus Australia. And as Enzo Fernandez was being subbed, they were, no, it wasn't that game. It was the Poland game. Enzo Fernandez was being subbed. And all of the Argentinian fans around me, they were singing, like they were going, Sexo. And I asked the guy next to me, I was like, what are you saying? They went, he's just young and handsome and makes me feel good. Sexo. So I think that Enzo Fernandez is on for a truly brilliant season. Where's? I mean, it's kind of a shame he's gone in a very different way. Not left, but it's a shame that he's not going to be available this season. Heartbreaker. Absolute heartbreaker for Wesley Fofana. Real shame. Conor Gallagher. Now, I think there is room in every squad for a Conor Gallagher. I think every team needs a Conor Gallagher. I think he's a great player. I really do. I like what he brings to the team. I like his energy. I like his enthusiasm. I like his passion. And I think that players like that are worth their weight in gold. I also think that if you think about how Pochettino has got the best out of certain midfielders over the years, think about the player that he turned, even players that didn't necessarily seem that great. For example, Bentaleb. You know, like when Dele Alli always had the talent. But Bentaleb, I don't think anybody expected him to have the season that he had that year. I think that Conor Gallagher could do that. However, I am terribly worried that our board are going to want to sell Conor Gallagher. He demonstrates profit. There's already been a bid from West Ham United, hasn't there? So I am concerned there. Here we go. Lewis Hall. Right. I think Lewis Hall is actually going to need to go on loan unless Cucurella. Like basically, we don't need Lewis Hall and Cucurella and Ben Chilwell. So I think Lewis Hall could actually do with a loan, and then he will come back really strong the following season. Lovely little player. So yeah, I think he should go out on loan. Kai Havertz is can I put him in a good riddance is too harsh. I wrote these categories. I wrote them all wrong. Kai Havertz. It's not a shame he's gone, but I don't necessarily say good riddance to him either, because obviously he contributed massively. I don't rate him though. I don't rate him, and I think it's a mistake that he's gone to Arsenal. Time will tell how true those words are going to be. But I overall am not sad to lose him. Of course, I am ever grateful for what Kai Havertz did for Chelsea. Scoring that goal in Portugal, obviously, he's etched into Chelsea history and folklore forever. But I will debate how good and effective Kai Havertz is. And I say it this way. If Mikel Arteta gets a tune out of Kai Havertz as a central midfielder playing that left channel, then he is one of the best managers in the league, undoubtedly. Because I don't believe that Kai Havertz possesses the skill. I don't believe that Kai Havertz possesses the will to play as a central midfielder. I don't think he's robust enough. I don't think he's full of heart enough. I don't think he is tenacious enough. So time will tell. But ultimately, I'm glad that he is no longer a Chelsea player, despite the fact that I'm very pleased and thankful for his contribution. Omari Hutchinson, this is it. Omari Hutchinson needs a loan move, I believe. I think that makes sense. He's a good riddance for me, you know. Such a good player, so much ability, and didn't really deliver when we needed it most. N'Golo, always believe in your soul. You've got the power to know you're indestructible. Always believe in N'Golo. Heartbreaker. Absolute heartbreaker. I mean, shame he's gone. Chelsea legend. Probably. Can you believe the words I'm about to say? This is how highly I rate him. Probably. Definitely. In my all-time Chelsea 11. He has managed to achieve the impossible. He has managed to elevate himself over Claude Makelele and over Michael Essien. Two players who were forever in my Chelsea 11. Suddenly, N'Golo Kante is in. He's a true great of the game, a true great of the Premier League, a genuine Hall of Famer, and actually totally and utterly irreplaceable for Chelsea. Kepa Arrizabalaga. Now this pains me. Chelsea are in such dire straits with regard to our goalkeeping situation. He is clearly not good enough. If we embark on a new season with Kepa Arrizabalaga as our goalkeeper, as our number one, there is a ceiling as to how successful we can be, and that ceiling is fairly low. He is not capable of being a Premier League goalkeeper. He is certainly not capable of being a Premier League goalkeeper when it most matters at the very top. We need to elevate our goalkeeping situation. It's really concerning. It's not a million miles away from what Manchester United had with David De Gea, but they have managed to right their wrong. We are still stuck with Kepa. This needs a solution. Immediately, this needs a solution. I kind of want to put him in good riddance. Something to prove, but I just don't think he does have anything to prove anymore. It's beyond. There's nothing for him to prove. We know he's not good enough. He can't prove us wrong now. We have so much data. We have so much experience of living life with Kepa Arrizabalaga. I can't do it anymore. A shame he's gone. He's not gone. Where do I put him? He doesn't have anything to prove. I mean, he does have everything to prove, but he can't prove it. It'd be like saying I have something to prove as a Premier League footballer. Yeah, I do, but I can't prove it. Me and Kepa, we're in the same situation. Where do I put him? I don't know. He's got to go. He's got to go. And I didn't like the way that he disrespected the office of Chelsea manager. Good riddance. He's got to go. Oh, God. Kalidou Koulibaly, it's got to be a good riddance, hasn't it? I mean, we signed him a decade too late. He just wasn't good enough for the Premier League. He just... I mean, it was laughable. It started quite well, and it just went worse and worse and worse. And not in a hostile way, but I'm glad he's no longer at the club. Mateo Kovacic should have been an absolute boy, but he, unfortunately, is on the shame he's gone list. I mean, he was one of the best players at our club. I feel like he could have always delivered more. When you think about how good he is at football, when you think about how graceful he is on the ball, when you think about sometimes his beautiful eye for a goal, when you think about how easy he finds the game, how wonderfully he carries the ball, the way that he can stride forward, the experience that he has. Considering all of that, I want so much more from him. I want more goals. I want more assists. I want more tackles. I want more incisive passes. I want him to be more. I want him to be a swashbuckling midfielder. I want him to be what I believe Jude Bellingham will be, because I think he has all of the talent. And it never really materialised. But still, I love Kovacic. He seems to love red wine as much as I do. He seems to love white trousers as much as I do. That's because I follow him on Instagram. Dresses very well, drinks very nice red wine. So I certainly wish him well, and it is a shame he's gone. Oh, Ruben. Ruben is gone. I think it's time. I think the time is correct that he's gone. But it's a real shame. So much promise. So good on his day. And we really did believe that he was going to be the main man. The heir to Balak's throne at one point. So it's a real shame that it hasn't worked out for him. And I just really feel sorry for him. Overall, his time at Chelsea. I remember being at Villa Park. I think he scored away at Villa. And it was just it was the same day Pato scored. Weird what you remember it. But I just thought he had such an eye for a goal, and I thought he could have maybe remodelled himself as a more forward-thinking player, playing behind a front man maybe. Then he had that great season in 19, and we played that friendly. Do you remember we played that friendly over in Boston? And he got injured, and he never really came back. He missed Baku. He would have played in Baku. He would have started. And that's obviously one of our finest nights in our history, and he missed it because he got injured in a meaningless friendly. A real shame, but I only wish Ruben Loftus-Cheek well. I think he has represented Chelsea so well, so many managers so well. He has always done exactly what's been asked of him, and he has been a credit to Chelsea Football Club. Wish him well. Oh, Noni Madueke. Okay, Noni Madueke is now... He's on for a great season. He's on for a great season. Really like the look of him. Really like how direct he is. Really like the confidence, almost arrogance that he plays with. You know what Chelsea are going to need this year? We're going to need players who are really prepared to seize the opportunity, to drive at the heart of the opposition defence. And Noni Madueke is that player. Trust me, this geezer is on for a great season. Edouard Mendy, it's not good riddance. I shouldn't have titled that good riddance. It's certainly not good riddance. I wish him well. I'm grateful for him, but I'm certainly not sad that he's left. He's in there. Oh, I didn't know he was there. I thought I got rid of him. Okay, that needs an X through it right now. Persona non grata upon this channel. I'm not putting you anywhere. In fact, he can just go in there, can't he? Persona non grata. Okay, Mykhailo Mudryk. Something to prove, but I believe he's on for a great season. I listened to an interview from Mykhailo Mudryk yesterday, and he was speaking, and he was very articulate, and he was very open, he was very honest, he was very transparent, and he said that despite the fact that he was trying very hard, he didn't manage to deliver any more than 20% of the player that he believes he is. So he also has something to prove, and he acknowledges it. But he knows that there is so much more to come. And if we can get him playing well, if we can get him playing right, I think that we have a diamond in the rough here. And the goal that he scored the other day against Wrexham, yes, I know it was Wrexham, but as I said at the beginning of this video, I'm allowed to dream. Mykhailo Mudryk is going to have a top year. I truly believe it. Okay, here we go. Christopher Nkunku. He is an absolute boy. The record speaks for itself. France international, everything that we could possibly want. This is the signing. This is the player that should drive fear and trepidation into the heart of every opposition fan. Nkunku is an absolute boy, no doubt. Pulisic, very little to say there. Good riddance in a polite way. He was all right, wasn't he? He was all right during when we came back, Project Restart and all that. Not only is this the main man, this is the main man in the main men tier. Reece James. Everything about Chelsea is personified by that man. I love him. I adore him. I met him at Silverstone and I was so starstruck. Has everyone seen that picture? In fact, I can put it up now. Look how excited I am. Undoubtedly, a main man. Do you know, I'm just looking at the absolute boys here. It's looking a bit light. You know, teams of a bygone era. Can you imagine how many main men we would have had? Ashley Cole, John Terry. Oh, gosh. At one point, we just had a team of international captains, didn't we? Michael Essien, Michael Ballack, Frank Lampard, John Terry, Ricardo Carvalho, Didier Drogba, Ashley Cole. Look, I mean, I know we're young. I know we've got a different approach. But I'm slightly concerned here that the absolute boys... I mean, Thiago Silva is obviously the capo di tutti capo. So he's going up there. And Raheem is going up there as well. Senior pro. We need him to be the main man, the absolute boy. But that's it, isn't it? Now, seeing it like this, I am troubled. Slanina can go on loan. There's Zakaria. He's a good boy, man. He played well. I liked him. That's it. That is it. That is our tier list. I'm slightly full of fear. Simply because I think that to have a proper year, a proper season, a proper challenge, you need more than 5 absolute boys, particularly when one of them is a debutant. This isn't looking good, but Caicedo comes in, things change. We sign a centre forward, things change. We sign an experienced goalkeeper, things change. There is room for optimism, but I must concede, this has freaked me out. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really do hope that you've enjoyed it. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please give this video a like if you have enjoyed it. And please do click that subscriber button. Thank you so much. In a bit.